Hey yo, what up? Welcome to Black Savage Entertainment. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and turn notification bell on. Yo, we back with some more content, man. We got Wack 100s reacting to 1090 Jake's new video on NBA Youngboy. Now, it's not looking good for NBA Youngboy ever since he was arrested while on federal house arrest for drug charges and firearm charges. Now, it's been revealed that NBA Youngboy has admitted to being in possession of a firearm, moving a weapon, and he's not supposed to be in contact with firearms. He was on social media posting drugs until the feds came and picked him up. He was facing about 63 charges. But let's get into the content, man, so y'all can hear the full audio, and we'll get back to it, man. Make sure you like and subscribe and turn your notification bell on. Let's get it.
LB's, thank you so much.
Rapper is facing over 6
Shut
up. Was arrested in Cache County.
NBA Youngboy was arrested this week at his Mill Creek home in what the Cache County Sheriff's Office is calling an ongoing investigation into criminal conduct.
We are learning new details about why young rapper NBA Youngboy was arrested in Utah yesterday.
The rapper, whose real name is Kentrell Deshaun Galden, was under house arrest as he awaited trial on federal gun charges. Several agencies, including the FBI and Secret Service, executed a search warrant yesterday morning.
September 19th, 2023. Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram, Utah, received a prescription called in for a 74-year-old woman named Bethel White. The physician who called provided the proper identification, but the number he called from wasn't from his pharmacy. A phone call to the suspected pharmacy would confirm suspicions. The pharmacist didn't have a patient named Bethel White, he never called in a prescription, and apparently someone's made several orders using his name that day. The prescription was for an antibiotic, as well as promethazine with codeine, a Schedule 5 controlled substance and one of the most abused and sought-after drugs in hip-hop. The antibiotic was most likely just to make the prescription less of a red flag. Law enforcement would wait in the parking lot of Reed's Pharmacy waiting for someone to pick up the order, but nobody came. That same day, Spence's Pharmacy in Logan, Utah, received a call from the same suspect using the same physician's information. This time, 71-year-old Gwendolyn Cox needed promethazine with codeine. 2 weeks after the prescription was called in, a female came and picked it up, stating Gwendolyn was her grandmother. The following month, Spence's Pharmacy received a second call requesting more lean for grandma. Spence's obviously realized the 71-year-old didn't just drink a whole bottle of syrup in less than 3 weeks, so this time they requested a hard copy of the prescription with the patient. So the suspect on the phone hung up the call. Spence's Pharmacy attempted to call the number back after looking up the physician's name, only to make contact with the real physician, finding out someone's been fraudulently using his credentials. On January 17, 2024, a fraudulent prescription was called into Larry's Pharmacy in Smithfield, Utah. It was the same deal. Another elderly woman wanted lean, and when things looked suspicious, the pharmacy called the police. An agent assigned to the Cache Rich Drug Task Force would conduct the initial investigation. Obvious similarities between the reports from the different pharmacies would lead officers to devise a plan. Contact would be made, and 2 females would arrive at Larry's Pharmacy to pick up the prescription. They'd be detained, and officers would smell a strong odor of marijuana coming from the Chevy Tahoe they drove in. With the females consenting to a search, marijuana flakes would be found around the interior, along with an empty handgun case for a .45 caliber 1911. They'd claim the marijuana wasn't theirs, and they were picking up a prescription for a friend that they refused to name. The 2 women would later be arrested for their role in the prescription fraud ring, and officers would discover the Chevy Tahoe they were riding in was registered out of Texas under a 24-year-old man named Kentrell Galden. Kentrell would be more commonly known as rap superstar NBA Youngboy. One of the task force agents would be contacted by dispatch and informed that none other than Gwendolyn Cox needed to speak with him. During the conversation, she'd state her last name was White instead of Cox, and she'd give her birth month and date, but couldn't provide the age and wouldn't provide her address. It was very clear to the agent that Gwendolyn was using a fake voice, as this old woman sounded like a much younger male from the South. She, or he, made a statement saying, "Well, I asked her to, and she said that she'll have you call me." The terminology "ax" instead of "ask" was a dead giveaway and consistent with a Southern dialect from states like Texas, Georgia, and Louisiana. The following day, a person who self-identified as NBA Youngboy's business manager attempted to contact the drug task force in an effort to get the Chevy Tahoe out of the impound. During this time, the impound company suspected the vehicle may be stolen after speaking with the so-called manager, so the task force officer requested to speak directly with Youngboy. On a conference call being recorded by dispatch, Youngboy told the task force agent the females arrested at the pharmacy were family. The agent would ask about his relations to the female and if they had his permission to drive his vehicle, to which Youngboy said they did have his permission and he asked for his vehicle back. The agent would tell Youngboy how to get his vehicle back, and the conversation would continue when Youngboy said, "Ask him about the prescription that they picked up." He paused for a few seconds before saying, "She on the fucking hospital bed. She on the hospital bed." The agent was aware Youngboy was speaking to someone else who claimed to be Youngboy's brother. The call would break up and go silent for durations of time, leading the agent to believe they were muting the call. Because Youngboy was speaking about prescriptions without being asked, showed he had knowledge of the fraudulent prescription the females attempted to pick up. It would also prove intent, as Youngboy attempted to further the prescription fraud by stating, "She's on a hospital bed," referring to the fake patient. Youngboy would also slip up, using the word "ax" instead of "ask," the same way the fake patient Gwendolyn did on the phone. And at this point, it would appear obvious NBA Youngboy was pretending to be a 71-year-old woman in an attempt to get lean. The drug task force would speak with the physician whose name was being fraudulently used, and a report for how many prescriptions were successfully picked up would be made. Ann White, Beatrice White, Caroline White, Gwendolyn White, Alice White, Francine White, Francine Taylor, and Gwendolyn Cox were all fake elderly women whose names were used to pick up different amounts of codeine, sometimes repeatedly. Surprisingly, NBA Youngboy's own name, Kentrell Galden, will be used with a birth year of 1953 to pick up a 7-day supply of codeine. A juvenile would be apprehended at the pharmacy after attempting to pick it up. Additional calls were made using Youngboy's real name and real birth date by someone in Houston, Texas. It was discovered the same white Tahoe registered in Texas that the females were arrested in could be seen in one of Youngboy's music videos. Further investigation into Youngboy was conducted after he was identified as the primary suspect. Rising from the trenches of Baton Rouge, Youngboy is documented to have lived in Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, California, and Utah. He's also currently on federal pretrial probation as he awaits trial for a federal gun charge for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The rap star's criminal history is not only extensive, but violent. Back in 2016, Youngboy was arrested on 2 charges of murder in Louisiana as a juvenile. The charges were eventually reduced, and Youngboy would be convicted of aggravated assault with a firearm, while his second charge of attempted murder was dropped entirely. This conviction alone would make him a convicted felon. In 2018, he'd be arrested for aggravated assault and kidnapping, with the kidnapping later being dismissed. Youngboy would plead guilty to a lesser charge of simple battery, resulting in a misdemeanor conviction and 12 months of probation. In 2019, Youngboy would be arrested for marijuana in Georgia, and in 2020, he'd be arrested in Louisiana for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, distribution of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance, illegally carrying a weapon, illegal possession of a stolen firearm, and possession of a controlled substance. In 2021, the feds would indict Youngboy for his Louisiana gun charge and 3 years later, he'd still be on pretrial release. Youngboy has been identified by the FBI as the leader of the NBA street gang. The gang itself is a group of Youngboy's associates that have been classified as a gang because of their structure, affiliation, and violent behavior. Youngboy's music is heavily influenced by that behavior, as he is consistently rapping about shooting and killing people, using drugs, and having a strong dislike for law enforcement. The rap star currently resides in Huntsville, Utah, within a multi-million-dollar mansion he's named Gravedigger Mountain. With an ankle monitor, Youngboy needs approval to leave his home for any reason, to the point that it doesn't even matter if it's a doctor's appointment. All guests that enter Gravedigger Mountain also have to be approved by his federal probation before entering the property. The same suspects that would be caught up attempting to pick up fraudulent prescriptions were all on Youngboy's visiting list. On April 16, 2024, a search warrant was executed on Gravedigger Mountain. Everyone within the mansion was detained, including Youngboy, and after being read his rights, he agreed to an interview. Youngboy was asked about the presence of firearms inside of the home. He said a gun belonging to his wife was inside, and Youngboy was asked if he ever handled the gun or if his DNA would be found on the gun. He denied that his DNA would be found, but stated 2 days earlier he had picked the gun up and moved it from an open area, placing it inside of a drawer. He'd claimed that was the only time he touched the gun, further stating his wife always has the gun within reach throughout the house. Youngboy was asked about prescription drugs in his house, and he'd state he has a prescription for promethazine. He provided the doctor's name who prescribed it and said he was local. When asked if he had any doctors in Texas, he'd say no, and continued to deny having been prescribed drugs from any other doctor. When asked about his associates picking up fraudulent prescriptions, he claimed to have no knowledge of their activities. He confirmed his association with 3 of them, and when confronted about the call with the agent, he stated he didn't remember, making suggestions the agent likely spoke with his dad. But the agent would note Youngboy has a very distinct voice and that it was in fact him on the call, as the agent later spoke with Youngboy's dad and could tell it wasn't him. Youngboy was interviewed further but continued to be deceptive and deny knowledge of anything illegal. During the search, law enforcement found a prescription bottle inside Youngboy's bathroom within the master bedroom. The bottle was prescribed to Caroline White, one of the fraudulent names. An antibiotic would be found within Youngboy's name, but with the birth date from 1955, and another bottle of promethazine would be found without a label. A handgun Youngboy admitted of possessing would be found within the master bedroom closet, with an empty magazine and 1 round loaded in the chamber. 3 more bottles of promethazine would be found inside of the home, and all electronics was seized. NBA Youngboy would be placed under arrest and charged with possession of a weapon by a restricted person, pattern of unlawful activity, 20 counts of identity fraud, 20 counts of procuring or attempting to procure a drug prescription, 20 counts of forgery, and possession of a controlled substance being marijuana or spice. Now, while it sounds like Youngboy clearly has a drug problem and was using his team to obtain them, how serious are his actual charges? For possessing the weapon and the pattern of unlawful activity, he faces up to 15 years each. Both fraud and forgery carry up to 5 years in prison, while trying to get a prescription carries up to a year. Because he faces 62 charges, NBA Youngboy is facing, at maximum, a total of 250 years. But it's highly unlikely he'd receive that sentence, as that's the max punishment on every count. What is likely to happen is the feds will indict Youngboy again for being a felon in possession of a firearm, the same way they did after his arrest in Louisiana. If this happens, we can expect his pretrial release to be gone and Youngboy to be kept in a federal facility until both federal cases come to an end. The fact that he admitted he moved the gun is an admission of guilt, which his lawyer will have to fight to get that statement thrown out. On top of that, the gun was found loaded in his bedroom closet, meaning while he may not have physically possessed it, even though he said he did, he could still be charged with constructive possession for the simple fact that he had access to it. Obviously, being placed on house arrest for years is damaging to one's mental health, and a drug addiction can blur one's mind. But we'll just have to wait and see if Youngboy's legal team is able to find sympathy while prosecutors seek punishment and a judge weighs out justice.
That's crazy as
Oh my
fuck.
God! I didn't even know that they had the fire. That like speaking alone, just on the firearm, you
Told
gonna
you
do?
that nigga is over
Yo,
with, bro.
fuck.
Bro, when they raided the house, they found the scripts, bro, all written on the pad. Every name they was using, what they was called, all that shit, bro. He ain't got no win. And then
Oh shit!
they're gonna get a voice analysis person to identify that was him, posing as the fucking doctors and shit, bro.
Exactly.
Yo,
Man, that
he's
shit's
fucked,
crazy,
man.
bro.
He.
Now here go the thing. We don't know if they gonna leave his state or run it feds.
It sounds probably because it's going through states. They probably letting the feds
I
pick it
think they're
up.
gonna. It sound like feds now, cause it sound like because
Yeah, it
the
sound like the
Texas,
feds.
the Texas to Utah shit sound like they trying to make that all feds.
And then it's an epidemic on that shit. So yeah, they gonna make an example out of blood for real.
Now, what the defense attorney gonna try to do is say because of his house arrest, it led him to his addiction. That's what they gonna come with. They gonna say, well, why didn't he just go to the doctor and get prescribed whatever he was diagnosed for?
In the
Right?
audio, he said that he was already he was already prescribed it already, so he definitely had a script of his own, but he just wanted more, huh? That's what it said, that he had a script already for it. That he was already he even said that, like, yeah, I take promethazine because I got it from a doctor,
They gonna
his
button
own.
that nigga up because he said. You remember a couple of weeks ago we was talking about how he said they told him he got to stop doing drugs, and he said, "No, I'll never stop doing. I'm a drug."
That nigga said, I'm a drug addict, bitch.
Yeah, he gonna have to play the dope fiend role. I'm addicted. This shit killing me and killing me.
That definitely have to play the dope fiend role. Hey, Wack,
And
how do
that's
you beat the firearm shit too, as far as being felon in possession or constructive, like
Nah,
that?
he had access. He
Yeah,
fucked
he
with
had.
that. And he said he moved it. And he said that because his fingerprints was on it.
I don't even know why Blood was even talking to people. You know what I'm saying? On the
Yeah,
phone,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
conversating.
Wack, that
Shut the
I
fuck,
moved it.
man. Shut the fuck up. As soon as they identify who they are, call my lawyer. I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't give you my name, none of that shit. Over the phone, man. Please, dumbass niggas always trying to talk their way out of something and talking their way into it.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you right, but they was gonna run DNA tests on it, so eventually it would have.
It don't matter,
I don't
nigga.
give
Let
a
them
fuck.
deal with that,
Yeah,
nigga. I'm not. You
It,
finna get it out of my mouth talking about, yeah, I touched it. You ain't getting that.
yeah,
access and touching a firearm when being a felon and being you can't have them around, no such
They
thing.
don't even gotta run DNA
Yeah,
tests now. The
now
nigga,
they don't. You just saved them some
Yeah,
money
you
and
right.
time. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker talking and shit. Then with that, you let a motherfucker pick a script up in your own vehicle, nigga, you tripping.
but he the one on the phone authorizing as a fake doctor.
Oh yeah, he in
That's diabolical.
trouble. Nah, that's
He
dope
about,
fiend shit. He wasn't thinking clearly.
yeah, clearly, nigga. Those are all heavy federal offenses. This nigga about to do some time, bro. I don't know how you can skate out of your way out of.
Only thing that's gonna save him is only a Schedule 5 on the federal level. That's kind of low. It ain't a Schedule 1 up there with like Heron and PCP. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna carry as much, but he got enough of it to be gone a decade or so.
Wack said
But
about 20,
that's
huh?
why
You said about 20, huh, Wack?
that's a yeah. We ain't gonna see him least between that and his other gun case.
Yeah, 15 to 20. I
Yeah,
say 10
all
to
that.
20. right around 15, 16 years, something like that.
He need that lawyer out of Atlanta, bro.
That's the state
Brian
case.
still can't
This
state
feds.
that.
Busy lawyer.
And I'm gonna be real. That's if they don't pop up with some more shit.
You know they stay working.
And now the floodgates is open on them. They looking for anything, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, that's bad work.
How long he been on a house arrest?
About 3 years, 2-3 years.
Some gun charges?
Yep.
And so he's still fighting. That was his sentence, or he's still fighting that
No, he's
case?
still
He's
fighting
still
it.
fighting. Yep.
So this is just compounded. Man, what kind of lawyers you got, man? He ain't supposed to be doing shit, man. Get this shit resolved, man.
They were probably low key in the process of beating them gun cases with them because he's been off so long, 3 years. He probably was
At
about to
least
beat all that
time
shit.
served. At least
Yeah,
time
and then
served.
now he just fucked all their shit up that they've been going for these 3 years with this shit. Just yo.
Yeah, 3 years, no problems, man. He got a good chance of getting time served. You know what I'm saying? For that
Yeah.
shit. But now you got a whole nother case. Boy, that gun case, you gonna go in, they're gonna say, hold on, Your Honor. We got some new shit. What? Yeah. We're gonna postpone. Matter of fact, we're gonna run them all together. Fuck it.
You can't fix stupid.
End of the audio, man. Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. Prayers up for Youngboy, man. It's not looking too good for the youth, man. Hopefully this wakes his eyes up, man. You can't be doing all this reckless drug use on social media, especially while you're on federal house arrest, man. Come on, man. You gotta smarten up, you NBA Youngboy, and you had people bringing you drugs, you posing as a doctor is not a good look, man. Wack 100 seems to think he gonna get at least about 10 to 20 years. G Connect says about 15 sounds right based on his charges, but only time will tell as the story develops. But damn, man, that's a bad look, man. Ain't be a young boy. You was getting to the bag. You were the highest stream rapper on YouTube, Spotify. I mean, you was definitely making your money. So I don't see why you had to, revert back to the nonsense, back to your old ways and using drugs and committing more crimes while on house arrest just to make your situation worse. You gotta smarten up, man. A lot of young people look up to you, and I know your music is not the most motivational music or positive music, but you got a lot of young people looking at you, so you gotta, man, hopefully this wakes him up, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about Wack 100, what he had to say about NBA Youngboy. How do y'all feel about this? What y'all think about the 1090 Jake video? Shout out to 1090 Jake, man. He's always on top of these things. But let me know in the comments, man. If you made it this far in the video, be sure you subscribe to the channel. Like the video so we can reach more viewers, and turn your notification bell on so you know when I drop the next video. All right, see y'all in the next one. Peace.